What is the strategic significance of the US deploying the THAAD system in Israel, especially in the current context of escalating tensions?
Good evening to you and to all the viewers. I believe that Israel is making the issue of security as a top priority above anything else. And they always say security first. And there are some fears of the missiles by the Houthis to hit Israel because actually these missiles have hit the heart of Tel Aviv and areas in the north and center of Israel, though. So I believe that establishing it seems like Israel has got the intention of attacking Iran, and they are fearing the reaction of Iran when such war erupts, because Israel is putting a priority, a list of priorities for its threats before the threats become more imminent. So the attacks on Houthis is a message to Iran that we are ready to attack and we have the capability to deter the Houthi missiles before they reach Israel. So this has two tracks. One is a deterrence defense track, and the other is an preemptive attack track. Israelis still fear that more attacks by Houthis would be launched, and the Israeli defenses did not manage to stop the ballistic missiles launched from Yemen to Israel.
Now, how does the deployment of the THAAD system bolster Israel's offensive and defensive capabilities, and what does this mean for regional balance?
So these missiles, the region itself is highly imbalanced, and Israel wishes for a regional war. Netanyahu wants to drag the region into a regional war by intervention in Syria and intervention elsewhere, by the bombardment of the civil facilities in Yemen, by continuing to attack Gaza Strip, the incursions in Quds. And so the Israeli government is still on the same track of militarizing the genocide that it is doing against the Palestinians, and threatening Iran, and making sure that Iran does not own a nuclear weapon. So Israel still puts Iran as the prime target and the prime threat and the prime enemy. So the Netanyahu government decided to hit the Houthis and also to send a message to Israel, because if Israel allows the Houthis to be stronger, it's a preemptive move by Israel to hit the Houthis and preparation to another assault by Israel against Iran, and wishing to stop any supply of missiles from Iran to Houthis.
Now, the U.S. active involvement in operating the THAAD system in Israel raises questions, big question marks, about its direct role in Israeli military actions. How do you interpret this step?
Let's be frank, without the infinite support by the US, Israel wouldn't have been able to continue its campaigns and aggression. On the 7th of October, there was a collapse in the Israeli army. There was a collapse of the Israeli entity as such on the 7th of October. So we have seen there the support by the US, and the US president met with the military cabinet of Israel. So the one that supported Israel and managed to get Israel to continue in this war was US. The US supported Israel by $7.6 billion of military aid and military equipment so far. So therefore the US is a great support to Israel in all forms and and always in its campaigns against after the 7th of October. So if it wasn't the US, and if the US was not backing Israel, Israel wouldn't have been able to change the face of the Middle East the way it is now. So Israel is a functional state that is doing what serves the interests of the US. So the US, whether Republicans or Democrats, are providing this infinite support to Israel. So the US has got a great role in supporting Israel in its in its war on the diplomatic level and on the military level. So when there was resolutions in the Security Council, the ones who crippled such resolutions was the US. So the support of the US to Israel is quite known to everybody. We hope that the US changes its policies and to go for peace in the region. And Trump has promised that he will be ending the war when he comes to office, but we hope that the region would be saved from further escalation, or else there will be negative consequences on everybody, not only Iran and Israel, but also the Gulf and all the forces in the region, because the missiles that will be hitting Iran will be going through the airspaces of regional and Arab countries, and this will intensify more the relations between US, Israel, Iran, and the region. We hope that there wouldn't be a regional war, because we have seen the excessive devastation and the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, which is displacing the people and killing the people. So the US now should be more firm in stopping the war machine of Israel, and instead of deploying systems to support Israel and to secure Israel, because this will harm the Arab-American relations in the future. Maybe at the current situation, things go okay for the US and Israel, but history is going to remember this, and this will be a mark in the mentality of everybody in the region.
Right. The Houthis have framed their attacks as acts of solidarity with Palestinians. How does this narrative challenge Israel's actions and its broader military objectives?
I don't believe that, with due respect to the statements raised right and left, but I don't think that such missiles from the Houthis will change the situation in the region. But Netanyahu is an enemy, but yet an intelligent enemy, and a very skilled enemy. So Netanyahu managed to turn this to his favor and managed to turn his weaknesses into points of strength and to manage the crisis. So he managed to convince the Israeli parties and the Israeli community that there is a present danger from Iran and from the Houthis, and whenever a missile is attacked, is hit on Israel, Netanyahu escapes his internal problems and his own trial inside Israel towards saying there is an existential war against Israel, and you Israelis see how this is threatening us. You see these missiles that is hitting Tel Aviv, so we should all unite, we should forget our differences, and we should confront our joint enemy, which is the Houthis and Iran. And these are the statements, and these are the concepts raised and floated by Netanyahu, and thus he lines up a lot of Israelis behind him. That's why Netanyahu is now more popular in the polls, not because he's a popular person, but he is portraying himself as the only one who can face all the challenges and dangers that face the state of Israel from the different parties that are associated with Iran, the way he says it.
Right, that was General Habis Al-Shroof. Your insights have seriously shed much needed light on the realities of the US-Israeli military collaboration and the message it sent to the Arab world and its impact on the region. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing your valuable perspective on these critical issues.